Good morning, my name is Roger Blowey. I'm a vet in general practice, been in general practice for a long time and have a big interest in feet. What I'd like to do during this session is to explain briefly the anatomy of the foot, the various structures involved, and then progress to talk about the formation of a sole ulcer and finally to show the importance of prevention and early treatment to prevent long-term changes. So if we first of all look at the structure of the foot, the cow's foot consists of three main components. There's the hoof that we can see here on the outside. That's produced by the corium, and we have the bone in the middle. So in the cow's foot, the hoof grows from this skin-horn junction here, the coronary band, and it flows down over at approximately 5 millimeters per month. Now, as the average distance from the coronary band to the toe is between 80 and 90 millimeters, depending on the age and size of the cow, then it means it takes at least 16 months, 16 to 18 months for the horn produced up here to flow down over and to come into wear here at the weight-bearing surface. So anything that we do to the cow might take quite a long time to see an effect. So that's the wall of the hoof. In addition to the wall, we have a separate bit of hoof growing out from the base. So this part of the hoof is growing from the base out towards the weight-bearing surface, and that of course is called the sole. And where the wall at this point joins the sole, we have a cemented junction running around here and back there, known as the white line. So then if we open up the foot and we look at the foot in cross section, now we can see the wall growing from the coronary band down to the toe, the sole growing from this point from the corium of the sole down to the weight-bearing surface, and the two are joined together at this point here by a structure known as the white line. So that's effectively the outside of the hoof. And if we look at the hoof just as a separate structure, then we can see the hoof here, and if we look inside, then looking inside the hoof, you can see the wall is at this point and the sole is at that point, and where the two join, then it's a really good junction, both on the inside and on the outside. So here, this line is the white line junction. The hoof itself, as I've already said, is formed by the corium, or the quick of the hoof. So if I get a preserved specimen, if I get a boiled specimen and we look at the corium, this claw is abnormal, it's this claw that we're looking at. So on here, the claw has been removed. This is the coronary band which forms the claw in this area. The top layer of the corium here is the papillary corium. That's where the horn is for the wall is produced, and then it runs down over this pink structure which is the laminar corium. And then if we look at the sole of the foot, along the sole here, then we have laminar corium, and the corium that's at this point is producing the sole of the hoof. So the corium is modified into, first of all, the papillary corium, secondly the laminar corium, and thirdly, an interesting structure at the heel at this point is the digital cushion, and we'll refer to the digital cushion a bit more in a moment, because the final structure of the foot, so the final part of the three structures of the foot is this little fella. This is the pedal bone, and the pedal bone fits inside the hoof, and it's supported at the front wall of the hoof. at that point. So it doesn't rest on the sole, it's actually supported by the front wall, and the space that my finger occupies is the digital cushion. When the cow is walking, that bone is just moving up and down a small amount, and where my finger is placed is the digital cushion at that point. If I want to look at the inside of the foot in more detail and take it apart slowly, what I need to do is to boil it well. So this mangled mass here is in fact a leg that's been boiled for 8 hours, and it allows me to pull the foot apart so that I can look at the structures underneath. So now I can remove the claw from the foot. Inside the claw you will see that the laminar corium of the wall remains attached to the wall, but the papillary corium of the sole is missing and is in fact attached to the base of the pedal bone, as in this foot here. So if we want to have a look at the structure of the digital cushion, which is at this point, and you can see how my finger is, my thumb is moving up and down with the pressure there. If we want to look at the digital cushion at this point, we can simply take slivers of corium off that surface, and hopefully we'll see the structure of the digital cushion underneath. In fact, I'll remove both claws so that will enable me to do the same on both sides of the foot, perhaps. So let's go back to this claw and we'll start removing some of that digital cushion. And as we trim away at the digital cushion, you can see there are fat pads underneath. So this yellow material you can see here is the fat pad, and that fat pad is extremely important. There are in fact 3 fat pads within the foot. There's some more fat here, some there, and the cow needs to have this fat pad, otherwise the foot will become bruised, and if it becomes bruised then she's much more likely to go lame. So there's a really nice fat pad there, and you can see this the arrangement, the stellar arrangement there in the base of the sole. Because if the corium becomes bruised, then of course horn formation will be disrupted. So I have actually got a really good example of what happens when a corium becomes bruised there in my fingernail. So you can see that my fingernail, because it became pinched, then blood was mixed in with the horn, that weakens the horn, and because the horn is weak, when that hemorrhagic material reaches the weight-bearing surface, which in my fingernail would be at the point being marked by the hoof knife, when that gets to the weight-bearing surface, then there is a risk that the horn will fall apart, and we have a hole going up through the base of the foot, which is of course a sole ulcer.